Minimum wage workers in Ontario will get a pay boost as of January 1st. The province will bump up the hourly rate from $14.35 to $15 an hour. Liquor servers such as bartenders and waitstaff will also be a part of that increase. Tony Elenis is the president and CEO of the Ontario Restaurant Hotel and Motel Association. He is in Bolton, Ontario. Mr. Elenis, can I get your reaction to today's announcement?
Well, the proposed liquor server announcement that came to us through the media last night, an increase to $15 per hour, has arrived with shock and disbelief. And the timing of this in an environment that restaurants are barely surviving is unbearable. Restaurant operations have been struggling for 20 months and are facing an even tougher recovery road ahead, and they're giving it all they have. This announcement has been received by many as a slap in the face, and operators are going through an emotional crisis that just added fuel to that fire.
Can you sort of describe what the climate is like right now for people who are operating restaurants and businesses that are going to be affected by this?
Well, I've talked to many every day, and for 20 months, including this last few weeks, and it will continue. They're struggling. They do not know if their doors will be open because they are paying higher costs today than they did before COVID. They are paying loans to banks, personal loans. They're paying much higher prices for food and labor. Many of them already have moved to pay more for labor because it's a workforce issue. And it's not about the general minimum wage. It is about the liquor server rate being eliminated.
Now, you found out about this, you say, through the media last night. I suspect you would have preferred to be consulted by the government on this, but if you had been, what would you have said to them if the government had come to you and say, look, we want to raise this, so we want to raise these rates?
Well, we're greatly disappointed that the government hasn't revealed this important decision, and a decision of a magnitude importance to the industry, to any organization in the industry. But we would have sat with government and explained that the general minimum wage increase can be supported by inflation and the workforce shortages, as I mentioned. Eliminating the liquor server rate contributes to one of the most critical struggles in a food service operation, that of pay inequity between the servers who earn healthy incomes due to tips, and those employees in the kitchen and support staff who are in the most part receive hourly wages. And eliminating the liquor server rate and moving it up to the general minimum wage rate has just made this worse. And I can see non-tip employees making $50 an hour. I personally would think that they need a raise and they need benefits. And many restaurants have been moving ahead, and many more were planning to do such. Now they cannot afford it. It's a major employee issue here.
When the Ford government made its announcements today, it said that it's doing this because the pandemic has been very difficult on frontline workers, that they've been hit very hard, and they say they also hope that higher wages will inspire more people to get out there and work. What do you say to the Ford government when they make the argument that these servers, it's time for them to be paid more?
Well, I fully support that the general minimum wage should move up. It's time to do that, and pandemic has made it worse. But again, there are employees in service positions that are making healthy incomes, and there are employees in kitchen and support positions that are struggling, and the operator does not have the financial well-being to pay more. The government announcement states that servers seen their tips pooled and redistributed among many staff. But the reality is that the vast majority of tipping pools that has been put in place by the previous government support non-server employees only marginally compared to a server takeout would pay. So it's being fair, and it is about equality.
Back in 2018, Doug Ford called this kind of wage increase a job killer. Are you surprised that the Conservative government, given Doug Ford's rhetoric around this issue, that this is the path they've taken?
We are surprised, but again, there are areas that we agree with. If we only sat down and explain how the overall pay is distributed in the workplace, in a restaurant, which is different than any other business. This tipping model needs to be reviewed, making tipping income as part of the employee wages, perhaps under the Employment Standards Act. This will bring the average wage of a server well over the general minimum wage so they can see it in the eyes. And the other part is, what are we doing to bring in a strong, meaningful plan that is needed for the industry to be sustained, to survive, and to prepare for success, such as reducing the price of beverage alcohol, which British Columbia has done it, the province of Nova Scotia has done it during the pandemic, and this is a high on the list item that we've been asking government of it. 3/4 of all restaurants in Ontario are licensed and can benefit from a reduction on liquor pricing.
We've got about a minute left here, sir, but are you saying that if the Ontario government lowered liquor prices, that's one way that would one thing that could possibly help keep these restaurants that are already going through such a difficult time, that would help?
We need something to mitigate the restaurant performance, or we're in trouble with many restaurants, including job losses. Yes, beverage alcohol is the carrot, it is the tool that can support the licensee restaurants.
And just really quickly before we go, what are your predictions come January 1st when this change comes into effect?
Well, hopefully we'll hear an announcement about beverage alcohol before that. But right now, the industry is in a panic mode. And they're trying to struggle how they're going to be able to survive. 20% increase in a wage is very tough to take that and pass it on through menu pricing. Menu pricing in a restaurant is very rigid, and it's not like any other business. It's very competitive. You push up 20 cents on a cup of coffee or a sandwich, and you lose customers.
All right, Mr. Elenis, we're going to leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Great to be on your show.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.